Hello. If you have a very small overball like so, I've taken some of the air out. And this is a really nice exercise to help release the area, the SI joint area in the back. So instead of feeling you have to stretch the area, then this is a really lovely way to open up into the lower spine. So if you can lie down on your back and place the ball, and the placement of the ball is actually quite important. Place the ball underneath your back at a point where the ball is not too high up so that your arch like so that's really bad for your back. And the ball can't be too low so that your pelvis is tucked like so. So basically you want to make sure that if the ball is underneath that little sweet spot where you know that your pelvis feels quite stable and flat. You will know what I mean when it's there. So the first thing that I suggest is just to try to relax into the ball. And for some people, they might find an initial feeling that the muscles are having a hard time to relax. And so there might be a bit of a resistance. If you could breathe into that resistance to start out with, so just take a breath in and then just try to relax. Let the back float onto the ball. And after a while, this resistance should just gently dissipate. If you want to do a little bit of mobilization for the pelvis, so without getting too much into an abdominal connection, if you just think about engaging your stomach to gently tilt your pelvis. So this is an exaggerated version of the pelvic rock. And I'll rest my hands down so you can see what I'm doing. So just gently connect your abdominals and tilt. So this is not a bum squeeze. This is more about the stomach instigating the movement pattern. So you just make sure also that you don't arch your back too much when you go back to that. Just go to a neutral spine. Contract lower abdominals and tilt. So this should feel quite nice. I'm now going to teach an exercise that I find it very hard to teach, so bear with me. It's doing a pelvic clock. So you can visualize that you have a clock resting on your pelvis. The numbers are 12 pubic bone, 1, 2, 3 would be your right hip, 4, 5, 6, 6 would be your belly button, 7, 8, 9, I think you're getting the picture, on the left hip, and then 10, 11, 12. So we're going to roll through the numbers of the clock. And the hard part about this is that I want you to keep your thighs and knees still. So drop down to number 6. Without totally overarching, please. Drop to number 6 and then roll 1, 2, 3. So your pelvis is tilting, and then 4, 5, 6, you're in that rock position. 7, 8, 9, over to the left. 10, 11, 12, back to the neutral. So you're going to try to roll through the numbers with a bit of flow. And this is where then it becomes quite difficult to keep the thighs still. So you want them to waddle all over the place. So if you stabilize the femoral, the femur head into the socket, and then you mobilize the pelvis, this is where you get the release into your lower back. Try the other direction, counterclockwise. You might find that some points, like one number, I call it being a little sticky, meaning that it's hard to roll through, or that you find there's a tiny bit of pain. Please reduce your range of movement if that's the case. And then gently release. If you want to have a little bit of core stability work resting on this ball, the hard part is not to shift and move the pelvis. If you keep the pelvis still, contract your abdominals and float one leg up. Very important that you keep your belly button drawn in so you don't react and push out. So this is working the core. So you're going to lower the leg down, contract lower abdominals, and then float. Very important to keep the opposite pelvis still. So it's hard. Let's say, for instance, I'm lifting up my right leg. It's hard not to twist into that. So I'm having to focus on the opposite hip. So you connect your abdominals, keep the pelvis still, and then float the leg up. Seems very easy, but it's hard. It's hard to do, to stabilize and keep the pelvis still. So this is actually working the stomach muscles, your very deep core, and then also working with the core in the back. And then if you want to finish off by doing just some little pelvic rocks, just to mobilize the back again. And then peel your hips up gently, take the ball away, and then roll down one vertebra at a time.